Yes, yes. How we doing today? It's your boy Nick Harksen over here on Touchdown Detroit Lions on the Syndicate Sports Detroit network. Let me know how we're feeling and we will get this episode going. I already see a few of you in the comments. Yo, what up? One Pride 0427. Good to see you in here. Daquan Adams says we cooked. Hey, I don't know about that. We're cooked for this season for sure because it's over. But I trust this team and we'll talk more about that. But yes, we are losing some pieces. So I see what you're saying right now, but we'll be all right, I think. But we'll get into all that. Lady Lion 20, what's up? Yes, hello to Lions family. John Peterson, go Lions. Dennis, what's up? Hey guys, how we all doing? We got a little bit of news to talk about today, and while everybody's getting in here, I'll talk about maybe some of the most the lighter side of the news, the less important stuff. And the Pro Bowl is this weekend. Of course, I was hoping that we wouldn't have any of our players showing up to the Pro Bowl because I wanted us to be in the Super Bowl. But Amon-Ra St. Brown will not be attending the Pro Bowl, and neither will Penei Sewell. I believe both due to injuries. I know that Amon-Ra's is for sure due to injury. Penei Sewell maybe just letting his brother Taylor Decker get his first Pro Bowl appearance over there, but congratulations to him. But 6 Lions will be there if you want to check out the Pro Bowl games going on. Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker, Brian Branch, and Jack Fox. And I will one more time just reiterate on something that happened earlier this year. Just an absolute, it's a disgrace to not have Kirby Joseph there, an all-pro safety. He was completely snubbed from the Pro Bowl, but I would rather be an all-pro than a Pro Bowler if you had the choice. Congrats to Kirby Joseph once again on being an all-pro selection this year. But yeah, that'll be happening this week. The Pro Bowl games, the Pro Bowl, all that. Not as exciting as it used to be, even if it really wasn't ever that exciting, if you ask me. And it's not in Hawaii anymore, so I think the players just get to go to Orlando or wherever they are. Not even a destination for those guys, but everybody's getting back from Cancun now, it seems like, who had the season off, and they'll be happy to get back together and enjoy some Pro Bowl games. But also another thing happening this weekend is the Senior Bowl. That'll be on February 1st, and that is, a big game for the draft. It lets a lot of these seniors really prove who they are, and one key guy who made an impression last year, not on us, but Bo Nix. There's a lot of guys who come out and they really impress in this game and up their draft capital. So this will be something to watch, especially, we can talk draft and everything now, but Senior Bowl is this weekend. If you guys want to check it out, see who's there as seniors, who the next up-and-coming people to the NFL, maybe not the best talent because, you can draft a junior and sometimes, if the NCAA allows it, sophomore and whatnot. But yeah. All right. Let's get into some more important news. We're 5 minutes in. John Morton is the Lions' new offensive coordinator. Congratulations, John Morton. This one kind of caught me by surprise. I'm not going to lie. He came over from Denver. He's the pass game coordinator. He's been with the Lions staff. He was with us in 2022, worked with Ben Johnson, worked with Jared Goff, and Ben Johnson had a lot of really nice things to say about John Morton. And before I go any further, this is not Johnny Morton, who used to play receiver for the Lions. No, this is an old white guy who didn't have as much skills as Johnny Morton on the field. I don't know, maybe he did, but still a great coach. He was the pass game coordinator for Denver. He has called plays before in the NFL for the Jets. In 2018, didn't work out so well for him, or maybe it was 2019. I'm not sure, but he got fired he had 1 year as offensive coordinator, and he was done. Now, to be fair to him, that roster was absolutely atrocious on the Jets, and he got some good play out of his quarterbacks while he was there. They were kind of arguing that he was a little pass heavy, didn't run it enough. There was a lot of turmoil in the locker room as well, and so they kind of drove him out of town. But one key thing that he's got going on here is that we have a good locker room. We have good players already set in place. He's not going to come into a toxic situation where the players are trying to overtake the locker room. Dan Campbell's going to have everything in check. He knows what he's doing, and Goff was a part of the hiring process. So I trust this hire, especially because, he's worked with Goff before. He already knows our terminology. Ben Johnson said that he was a huge part of making the offense come together in that 2022 season and did a huge behind-the-scenes work for the Lions to get everything kind of in order. So he knows that playbook. Like I said, he knows the terminology. He knows our language. Nothing's going to have to change up there. So if Brad and Dan trust in him, and if Goff was a part of the hiring process and wants him as the OC, then I'm all on board for it. It did catch me off guard, however, though, because I thought that offensive coordinator-wise, we would stay in-house. I thought maybe, I wanted Scotty Montgomery. Last week, I made a video, it was on here live, that I wanted Scotty Montgomery as our offensive coordinator. Secondly, I wouldn't have minded Tanner Engstrand. And then I wanted Randall L., who is not an option because he is now the assistant head coach and wide receivers coach over in Chicago. Excuse me. So, yeah, Randall L. is not an option, and neither are the other guys now because we have hired John Morton. But what does this mean for Scotty Montgomery and Tanner Engstrand? Well, I haven't heard much news about Scotty Montgomery, and he is the assistant head coach, so that is a top position to have, in the locker room as a coach. On the staff, I do believe it's ahead of OC and DC, depending on how you look at it, but I don't see him going anywhere. I'm not sure. Maybe he will if he gets the offer. But right now, I think that he stays with Detroit as the assistant head coach. He likes coaching the running backs here. He's got a good rapport with the locker room. And, obviously we like him as a coach here too. So I do think that he sticks around. Assistant head coach is a great job to have. But with Tanner Engstrand, there is some concern there that he will be leaving, along with other coaches who have already left, like J.T. Barrett, who went to Chicago as well. He was our assistant quarterback coach. Now he's the quarterback coach over there. But Tanner Engstrand is gaining interest from the Jets, where Aaron Glenn went. Aaron Glenn just had his presser yesterday. I didn't expect anything less. The guy's impressive. He knows how to talk, and he's ready to take on that role over there. And he gave a lot of credit to his time in Detroit to where he feels like he will have success because he went through, the bottom here, rose to the top, saw what it takes to get there. And, of course, him working with Dan Campbell and all that, he gave praise to us. So I'm going to give praise to Aaron Glenn. He got out of the division. Now, the only thing that I won't like that he does is if he takes some more coaches from us. And that would be Tanner Engstrand, who has got interest from that. A lot of fans are upset that we went with John Morton and didn't promote Tanner Engstrand. But, I don't think you can completely go with two promoted guys from in-house. Maybe you need one to be a veteran coordinator there and not have two rookie coordinators at once. But I don't know. It could have worked out if you ask me. But still, maybe that's what they're thinking is what I'm trying to get at. I'm not saying that's what they should have done. This is the right move or anything. We're going to see if it's the right move. We're going to find out. But I do trust that if it doesn't work out, Dan will hop right in there, get him out, and he'll take over. But I'm going to see how you guys got this hire going in your mind. Do you like this? Do you not like it? How are you feeling? Would you have rather had Scotty Montgomery, Tanner Engstrand, somebody else come in and be our offensive coordinator? I want to know how you guys are feeling about the hire of John Morton. I'm going to get over to the comments. Wow, I'll give you a second to respond to that. But One Pride says, they're saying Sewell has a left ankle injury. That's right, he did have that, and he was playing through it in the playoffs, and they're at the end of the season as well. So probably just resting it up, getting some rehab on it, extra weeks of rest. Don't want to go down there and, have the competitive edge in you and get some, want to get out there and compete just because you're there and then end up hurting yourself more. So smart on Sewell to stay back. And yes, thank you for bringing that up to my attention. Boog, the only offensive difference would be a fewer trick plays. Yeah, so I agree with you. He already knows everything that's going on. It's going to be up to him, obviously to call the plays and everything. Now, is he going to be more pass heavy like he was with the Jets? I don't know, and probably not because we have a way better roster than they had when he was the offensive coordinator there. So I think that that's another huge factor. He didn't get a fair chance when he was there as the offensive coordinator with the Jets. So don't let people come out and, talk all this crap to you. Oh, you're offensive coordinator. The last time he was an offensive coordinator only lasted a year, and he got fired from the Jets. He couldn't even last a year with them or more than a year with them. That was a terrible team that he was taking over and a lot of turmoil in their locker room. He's coming into a way different situation. He's already been in this locker room. He knows Goff. He knows the system. He knows Dan Campbell. This is a 100% different situation for John Morton, and he's set up to succeed here. I think it's going to be a good thing. John Gruden, Chucky, if you don't recognize the real name, but John Gruden, former coach, he had some nice things, a Super Bowl champion coach as well. He's been all about the Lions this season. I don't know if you've seen him, but he's on board with us. He likes what we're doing over here. But he said this about John Morton. He says that Gruden sees a lot of Morton's influence in the Lions' offense the past 3 years. Said Lions have a good reason to have a glass of Cabernet and celebrate. So he's all about it. He's opening up the wine glasses. He's popping bottles. And he thinks that Lions fans and the Lions locker room, the whole organization as well, should as well. So I don't know if John Gruden, pretty good coach, knows what he's talking about. I trust Dan Campbell and Brad. I'm not going to listen to what these fans who wanted Tanner or, who wanted somebody else and they're just in their feelings have to say, because we got to trust the people who are in charge, who see what's happening behind the scenes. Remember, Goff was a part of this hiring process as well. Goff wanted this guy over. I don't know this for a fact. I wasn't there in the room. But Dan Campbell said in the press conference, he was going to have Goff be a huge part of this, and he wants Goff feeling comfortable with whoever they hire. I'm sure Tanner Engstrand was brought up. I'm sure maybe Scotty Montgomery was brought up. Randall L. maybe was brought up, but he went to the Bears. But Goff probably said, you know what? I know this guy. I've worked together with him. I have a good relationship with him. Let's go ahead and give him the okay. So if Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, Jared Goff all feel comfortable with John Morton moving forward as the new offensive coordinator, I'm feeling good about it as well. Don't be as pass heavy as you were in New York. I don't think you will be, because you don't have to be like you were then. You were pretty much playing to save yourself. You had to pass it to stay in the games during those times. But yeah. So I think with Jahmyr Gibbs, Dave Montgomery, the roster that we have here, it's going to be hard to fail, is what I think. So Dan Campbell's going to have him ready to go. I'm on board with it. How you feeling? Patrick, good to see you in here, says, I trust Holmes and Campbell on this for sure. Lady Lion, happy to see they kept Hank Fraley. Yes, that is another huge keep over here on our coaching staff and a promotion. We promoted him to run game coordinator. We had to give him some kind of love to keep him around. He was wanted as an offensive coordinator with the Seahawks and the Bears, or at least he interviewed. I don't know if he interviewed more with the Bears or if he interviewed with the Bears, but he had a second interview with the Seahawks for sure. And I know that there was interest with Hank Fraley in Chicago for sure. But for him staying with us is massive news. There was a lot of doubt that, if he left, that what would Frank Ragnow do? Because Frank Ragnow was saying, I've never played an NFL snap without Hank Fraley as my offensive line coach. He doesn't know NFL football without Hank. And he says he didn't want to know NFL football without Hank. So if Hank left, Frank's dealt with a lot of injuries. Who knows if he would have hung it up. He's still young. He felt like he's, the best feeling that he has in his career this past season. He said, he's feeling healthy. He's ready to go. But without his boy there backing him, he could have hung it up. But I'm glad that is not that's not happening. We don't have to discuss that anymore. Hank staying, Frank staying. Hank and Frank, love the duo. Love that they're coming back. I don't think it was ever in question that Frank was coming back. I think he was just saying some stuff, and it worked. He was out there throwing it out there to the public. I don't know if I can play another snap without Hank. Well, his campaign, they were calling it a smear campaign. It worked. So thank you, Frank, for keeping Hank around, John Peterson will not know until we see the results next year. Talking about the offensive coordinator. True. Very true. I just wanted to know initial thoughts on if you trust this hire or not. or if you would have rather had an in-house hire or somebody else. What's up, HPU Lupe? Hey, sir, I like the move. We need someone who is going to be around a bit. Yeah, okay. I like it. I like that take. Patrick, we have a much better running back duo than any other team out there, so I'm excited to see what happens this next year. Yeah, and, Gibbs just kept getting better as the year went on. I think Monty had an amazing year before the injury, and we saw in that last playoff game, he wanted to be out there, but it wasn't the same Monty, so I'm excited to get a full healthy Montgomery with an even better Jahmyr Gibbs out there next year. I think, we'll see what happens because Ben Johnson, when he was there, he's like, I trust both of them. They both have the same skill set to me. I can use them in the same exact way for any of the plays that we got, and I trust both of them out there to go out there and execute no matter what I call. It might be different here with, what's his name, John Morton, because, maybe he sees more in Gibbs and he wants to have him have the workload and then give Montgomery the ball in different situations. It could be a little bit different, but if I were John Morton, I would look at the formula before you came in here that you helped create, apparently, and just keep moving forward with that. It keeps the guys fresh, and yes, we do have the best running back duo in the league, if you ask me. If you're asking me. All right, let's get to another coaching update with the Lions, and you all know about this one as well. Lions promoted linebacker coach Kelvin Shepard. Shep. I was talking about this last week. I thought he was a shoo-in for the defensive coordinating position, and look where we're at. He was promoted. This is an in-house hire. I think it was a great hire. He's getting praise all around the league right now. Pat McAfee and the whole Pat McAfee show had a lot of great things to say about him as a teammate when they played with him. They said he was just a natural leader, wasn't even there for a few days before he took on the leadership role. And they said that's a guy that they could tell when you're in the locker room with him that one day he was going to be a coach in this league and like a top coach. They were saying not just a coordinated coach. They say that one day they see him being a head coach. So a lot of praise from those guys. And then, of course, Aaron Glenn said that he was mentoring Shep for this position particularly. He's saying I pretty much mentored him to take over this role one day. And he's happy for him. Now he's got his chance, and he's ready for it. He was out there celebrating right away, posting all of his pictures at dinner and saying, thank you for the opportunity. This guy's fired up, and I'm fired up for him. I know that the locker room loves him. I think this was the right call, especially if you want to keep, guys happy. And he's a player's coach just like Aaron Glenn. So, a lot of people were sad to see Aaron Glenn go, and they probably still will be, but to replace him with somebody that they already know and they love and not bring in a new name, I think is going to be huge for the camaraderie still on that defensive side and, keep people fired up. Anzalone, hopefully, now he's probably going to stay, not ask for a trade. I don't think he ever was anyways, but he is on his last year of his contract with us, but, I think that he'll enjoy playing for Shep as well, and all the guys will. They'll go out there and fight just as hard for Shepard as they would for Aaron Glenn. They know the guy. They know his passion. They know what he's all about. And, yeah, just a great hire in my opinion. Another hire that we had on the defensive side was Casey Rogers, the D-line coach from Tampa Bay. He was also their run game coordinator. But this was an absolutely home run hit, out of the park, grand slam, whatever you want to call it. Casey Rogers was an excellent D-line coach with Tampa Bay. Since he was there, you've probably heard it all week. It happened the day after my last episode, so I didn't get to talk about it. But, since he's been there, I think in 2018, 2019 when he's got there, and every year that he's been there, they've been a top 5 run defense or a run defensive line. And they've been at the very highest, very lowest rating that they've ever been was 7th in pass rush. Or getting sacks, getting to the quarterback. So he did wonders in Tampa Bay. Now, their head coach is a defensive guru, but he wanted to come to Detroit. I'm happy about it. He's going to have Ali McNeil cooking next year. DJ Reader. Hutch will be back. Hopefully we got Zadarius Smith or somebody on that other edge. We'll see what happens with the draft and if we keep him. But, yeah, I really love that hire. Casey Rogers. Great job, guys. Great job on that. Alrighty. One more coaching news before we start talking about some other stuff. But Cameron Davis, our assistant defensive line coach, he gone. We decided to part ways with him today. And, yeah, good luck to you in the future. But now it seems that we have a different D-line coach, and he wants to bring in his own people, maybe for assistant. But all right. Going to get over to the comments real quick. Patrick says, well, I just got here, but my critters in the barn are bellowing for their evening chow. Check you all later. All right. Thank you for coming by, Patrick. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I just mentioned Zadarius Smith, and he just posted on Twitter and Instagram the other day a ring, a very nice ring. Almost looked like a Super Bowl ring, but it had a lion on the side. It had lions up above. It said Smith. It had number 99. And he said the ring before the real ring. And talking about a Super Bowl ring. He wants to run it back. He made another post saying he loved his time in Detroit. He can't wait to come back and finish the story, Cody Rhodes style. And, yeah, there's no guarantees coming back, but he says he would love to come back and play another year in Detroit, at least one more year. He's got one more year with us on contract, but a lot of people are saying, move him around, get some more draft picks, bring in a young edge. He wasn't what we brought him in for. Well, he did just fine. He's not going to be Hutch. If anybody thought he was going to be Hutch when he came here, you're out of your mind. Hutch is a whole different animal. Maybe Zadarius Smith like 5 years ago would have been that, but he still did great for us. I feel like, he has a high motor. He played his part. No, he didn't get to the quarterback a ton. He did get there a few times, though, but I would not mind bringing him back, have him on the other side, have Hutch, Lee McNeil, DJ Reader. I think that is a lethal defensive line. Of course, we got to stay healthy, so I would still go and draft an edge or go pick somebody else up, but I like Zadarius Smith. Now, we have a decision to make with him. Come March, if we don't move on from him, we owe him $11 million on his contract. Is he worth it? That's up for Brad Holmes and them to decide. But, according to Over the Cap, next year we have $46 million, and I saw somewhere else that said that we had $56 million. So, it's diluted in there right now, but this is according to Over the Cap. Team cap space is $46,564,933 in cap space. So we got a little bit of money there to work with. I still think we need to bring back some other guys like Carlton Davis. I would love to bring him back. I would love to bring Zeitler back. I don't know if we necessarily need him, but he wasn't the problem. If we're going to replace anybody on that offensive line with Mahogany, it's probably going to be Graham Glasgow. He still was solid there. He had a decent year, but he had a better year the year before that. And Mahogany's on the up and up. Zeitler was probably, top 3 offensive guard on the line this year in the NFL. So I wouldn't mind bringing him back. He is up there in age, but give him another 1-year deal. Same with Carlton Davis. I'm okay with that. And then, of course, we got people that we're going to need to extend. Kirby Joseph, all-pro safety. I feel like he's getting a payday coming soon. Brad Holmes alluded to that a little bit. If we want to keep Malcolm Rodriguez around after this year, we got to pay him. I'm not so sold on Pascal. He is on his last year of his rookie deal. But if they want to keep him around after this year, they're going to have to extend him as well. And then, of course, Hutch and J-Mo. Hutch and J-Mo both do, they can use their 5th-year option for either one of them. They were both first-round picks, and that's how that works. If you're a first-round pick in your draft, then you have the option to get a 5th-year option. The team can do that to you, give you a certain amount of money, and keep you for an extra year, only if you're a first-round pick. So Hutch and J-Mo have that option this year, but will they do it? With Hutch, I think they extend him. I think he's done enough. That leg injury was a freak accident, but before that, he was definitely on pace to be defensive player on the year. He was having high caliber year, just, flat out playing out of his mind. So I think that he's earned the extension, even with the injury. Lock him up in Detroit, keep him here. Now, J-Mo, they have a big decision on. J-Mo hasn't played as much. Yes, now I just talked about Hutch's injury, but J-Mo's whole first year, out 9 games with the injury, came back, made a few big plays. Second year suspended because of the gambling. And then this year got suspended a few games. And then, so he has shown out this year. I love what Jameson Williams has done. And, a 1,000-yard receiver. He really, really broke out this year, and I think he's got more in the tank. But do we extend him right now, or do we give him his fifth-year option? I think you do either. You have to extend him to the fifth-year option if you're not going to give him an extension this year. But if I were Brad Holmes, just the way that everything's going, I would lock up Jameson Williams right now because you could probably get him for a lower deal for the fact that he's missed a ton of games. Yes, he is starting to accelerate, and he's starting to show a lot of promise. But that wide receiver market is always, always going up. So get him now. Extend him now for a more friendly deal. Yeah, give him a nice contract. Pay him some money. Make him feel good. But if you pay him and extend him right now, and you kind of let him know, hey, man, you missed a whole year to injury and suspensions. You haven't been out there as much as we wanted, but we like where you're going. We want to keep you around as a Lion. Here's a nice chunk. You can get that done right now, I think, for a more friendly price than if he were to go out there next year and ball out. And then we can put him on the fifth-year option, whatever, but then he's going to be asking, hey, I want more money now. I just did this for you. I did that for you. I improved. Maybe he goes downhill too, so you never know. But if I were Brad Holmes, I would get the deal done with Jameson Williams this offseason and with Hutch. Extend them both along with Kirby Joseph. Those are my top priorities. I don't know if we have enough money for all of it. Brad Holmes is a mastermind, and that could be another factor as well. Maybe we can extend Hutch or JMO. Maybe we can only do one and then give the other one their fifth-year option and be like, hey, you know what? We're going to keep you around. But to me, it'd be smarter to lock both those guys down just because of how the market, especially with both those positions, just keep going up and up and up. So lock them down before it gets too expensive. Hutch going to be expensive regardless, but JMO, I think you can talk him into a little lesser of a deal right now. Not that he doesn't deserve more, but just like Amon-Ra, just like Goff, they got huge paydays, but we set the market, and then after that, everybody else had to pay their top players even more. So it's smart on us to get the better contract, but still make our guys feel really good about themselves. I think they should do that with JMO and Hutch. All right, here we go. Lady Lion, I feel Z is a great locker room person, good to help the new players coming in, yes. John Peterson, I agree with you as well. Z would be great, especially if we draft a young edge with the first pick, second round pick, whatever. He can teach him a lot, and I think that he has a lot of value to give to Hutch as well. They can help each other out. Yeah, I would like to keep Zadarius Smith around for sure. John Peterson signed both now, only money. All right, I'm with you, and we're only going to get more the next year as well. MP's back in here. He's a Bears fan talking crap to the Lions, but, they're so obsessed with us, I'll say it again, that they can't stay away from us. Go ahead. Feed my pockets, MP. Come in here and talk some Lions football. You guys can get an insight on what a real winning team looks like because you guys are trying to steal all of our coaches. You're trying to steal our formula. It ain't going to work out. You guys are the Temu version of the Detroit Lions. You're the Temu version. You haven't done nothing yet. You won 5 games last year. You got a new coach, and your rookie quarterback is not – he wasn't worthy of the number 1 overall pick. Jaden Daniels, better. Bo Nix, better. J.J. McCarthy might be better. We haven't seen yet. So keep having fun with your dumpster fire franchise over there that's going to keep going downhill. I ain't worried about the Bears. MP, get out of here. Actually, keep coming back and giving us that money. Keep coming back. Lions, man, take Ben Johnson. You can have him. Laugh my ass off, MP. Yeah, that's right. It's hilarious. The better coach went to the Jets out of the 2 coordinators, just letting you know. You guys should have hired Aaron Glenn if you wanted to have success. Whatever. I'll wish him success. I like Randall L. He's over there. I like Randall L. JT Barrett, not a bad guy either. Ben Johnson, absolutely just traitor for going so quick in that stupid bear down video he did. But enough about the Bears. Enough about them. Can't wait to whoop up on them a few times next year. All right. So there are, now that we're here, let's get here. I didn't do any of my free agency stuff today. But I'll do this.
Draft talk.
Yes. We can talk about the draft. We're here. And I don't got a lot to talk about the draft, but there have been a ton more mock drafts going on. Saw a few on ESPN. And I'm just going to go over these and see how you guys feel about it. I'm going to let you know how I feel about it. But the Draft Network, Mason Johnstone, has us taking Cameron Williams, a right tackle out of Texas, 6'5", 335 pounds. I'm okay with this. Our offensive line isn't getting any younger. Decker, we did just extend, but I don't know how much longer he's got left in his tank. He did kind of digress a few times this year, but he was battling through some injuries, so wouldn't mind at all getting a tackle just for the future, get him ready to go. But I know that they like what they got going on with the one that they drafted this year, Manu. He's just a slow project, but big guy, a lot of potential there. All right, JP Acosta of SP Nation has us taking right tackle Armand Membo. 6'3", 315 pounds, another right tackle. I feel the same about this. I haven't really gone into a lot of tape yet, and that's what I'm going to start diving into in future weeks here. I'll have some highlights up here for you. Do you guys some justice, but yeah. That's who they got. So now we got going on Fantasy Pros. Seth Wollock has us taking a defensive tackle in Tyleek Williams out of Ohio State. I like that. I'm not a big Ohio State fan. You know, I don't like Ohio State at all, actually, but wouldn't mind that pick, to be honest. James Pierce Jr. is the next pick for the draft wire. Brad Mendez has us taking edge James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. The Athletic has us taking edge out of Texas A&M, Nick Scorton. And then CBS Sports, USA Today, Pro Football Network, and Fantasy Life, Thor Nystrom from Fantasy Life, all have us taking edge out of Arkansas, Landon Jackson. Now, I believe, was it him? I'm not sure who it was, but they were at the Senior Bowl. And they said, you know, you better draft me early because you're not going to want to miss out on this. And I think it was Landon Jackson. I'm not sure, but wouldn't mind that pick. And then, of course, Jack Sawyer was the pick from Nick Suss from the Tennessean. That's the Ohio State edge rusher right there. He's pretty good. I wouldn't mind that either. And then the last edge taken in these mock drafts, Derek Tate of Pro Football Network and Chris Trapasso of CBS Sports have us taking Mike Green, edge from Marshall. Then we got a few linebackers in here, a defensive back, and that's about it. Actually, just one linebacker, Jalen Walker, out of Georgia. That's who Vikings Wire has us taking. I don't care where the Vikings Wire has us taking. And then Jahdae Barron, the DB out of Texas. Kyle Krabs from the 33rd team has us taking Jahdae Barron, the DB out of Texas. But a lot of edge players, mainly edge, and then offensive tackles. So I'm more on the interior offensive line. If you ask me, you know, like I said, Taylor Decker is getting a little bit older, but the interior offensive line is much more banged up and much more older. Yes, we got Mahogany. He's looking promising, and he'll be a starter in the future. But Frank Ragnow, yeah, he's still in his 20s, but he's always hurt every single year, gets banged up. We don't know how much more he's got left. If we win a Super Bowl, maybe he's out. Zeitler, 34 years old. He's not on contract anymore, but if we bring him back, or if we don't bring him back, then we need an interior offensive lineman. And then, of course, Graham Glasgow not getting any younger either. So I'm more on the interior offensive line to draft if we're going to go early than a tackle. I won't be mad at a tackle at all, but me personally, interior offensive line, edge, D-line, that's where I'm going. I wouldn't mind a D-back either, but I want to bring back Carlton Davis. I think Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold next year will be hopefully more improved. He's very confident in himself that he's going to be one of the top corners in the league real soon. He says, I know I'm going to be the best corner in the league real soon. So I don't know. You got some tough competition. Cooper DeJean did look good the other day for Philly. Now he's playing nickel. It's completely different, but he's doing good. But I think bringing Carlton Davis back would make our D-back room, especially if we can stay healthy, very good. Him, Terrion, Branch, Kirby, Amik, be fire. But bring back Carlton, if you ask me. Bring him back. Hatter's House. Yo, what up? Damn, I missed last week's show, but that's why we lost. Shaking my head, never again. Nah, it ain't your fault, Hatter's House. I ain't putting that evil on you, okay? We all had our part. The Lions in particular, they just didn't show up. They just did not show up. Lions, man, they don't sound bad. Get a rookie tackle and have Decker and all the vets teach him. Yeah, I mean, that would be the way to go about it. If you're going to groom a tackle to be the starter, maybe get him now and have them teach them. But, Penei Sewell worked out perfectly just throwing him in there right into the fire. But he's a generational talent. That was an early pick. I don't see us having a top 10 pick unless we make some trades here in the near future, and hopefully not for a long time because we're dominating. But, yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be bad if we got a tackle. I wouldn't mind going second round for a tackle, maybe something more of an immediate need in the first round. But Brad Holmes has said they don't draft for needs. They don't draft to fill positions. They draft for the best player available, and that's going to be the formula moving forward in every draft. Best believe that. Hatter's House need to shore up the O-line for sure. Yes, definitely. So, like I said, I'm more of the interior offensive line, but I will not be mad if we get a tackle. Michael, what's up? Abdul Carter, okay, that's your pick. Okay, that's what I like to see. If you have a specific player that you would like to see come in, let me hear it. Let me hear about it. But I'm going to start breaking down players more individually moving forward. I want to give myself something to talk about each week, so I can't dive into it right away. Otherwise, we'll be talking about the same player over and over every week. But yeah. All right, here we go. One Pride 0427 says, I don't think you option JMO because I think locking down Curb and Hutch is the priority. Not that JMO doesn't deserve it, but see how he fits the new system and how his maturity progresses. Okay, I see that. So you could give him the 5th-year option after this season, and I don't think he'd be mad at that. I mean, I think he'd definitely understand. A lot of people label him as a diva and all this because of the way, I don't know why. He's really not. He's a team player. Yes, he's gotten in a few, scandals here and there, but he's really not out there like, give me the ball. It's my team. He's not out there doing that. He's a team player. He blocks. So I think he would be friendly to the team. Take that 5th-year option. Lock up Hutch and Curb, like you said. But if we can get a friendly deal for JMO, get them all 3 right now. Why not? And then Malcolm as well. I just think if you can make it all happen this year, make it happen. If you can get JMO on a friendlier deal this year, make it happen. But I'm with you with the priorities being Kirby Joseph and Hutch, number 1. But then I would like to bring Jameson Williams back, at least on the 5th-year option. John Peterson, glad Lions now have a late 3rd-round pick. That is right. We have a late 3rd-round pick this year and next year. That is because Aaron Glenn went to the Jets as a head coach. A lot of people are asking, why didn't we get a pick for Randall L? Well, the reason why we got the picks for Aaron Glenn, yes, is because he's a minority coach, but you don't get picks for a minority coach who isn't a head coach. They have to go and be the head coach elsewhere, and they have to have been with your organization for 2+ years. So there's certain stipulations to why you get these picks. Aaron Glenn got picked up as a head coach. He's a minority. Been with the Lions more than 2 years. We get 2 third-round picks for that. 1 this year, 1 in next year's draft. So didn't have a third-round pick before that. Now we do. So Aaron Glenn, best of luck to you with the Jets, and thank you for the 2 third-round picks as well. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Probably did a lot of wonders for these guys and teaching them a lot of ball, a lot of how to be a good man. So I appreciate your time in Detroit, Aaron Glenn. I appreciate you. I do. Zach J, can you trade compensatory picks? I think you can. I need to look in that for sure. But I believe that's already happened in the past with us. But let me get to that, to the bottom of it right now. I'm going to do this for you right now because I'm curious as well, but I'm pretty sure that you can. Comp picks can now be used in trades. Yes. So that definitely increases their value. Definitely can be traded. So we can get some more picks from this. Great question there, Zach. Great question. Kept me on my toes. Now we all know you can trade a comp pick, which makes this pick and next year's pick very valuable. Very valuable. I love it. I love it. All right. So that was my draft talk for the week. We do have, a lot of people have been saying our window's getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. I don't necessarily think so, but I think that we got to get it done this upcoming season. And here is why. We have a ton of people leaving this year who we're going to have to bring back. And I think that we do bring some of them back. Like I said, I want Zeiler. I want Carlton Davis. I wouldn't mind bringing back Barnes. I'm not sure that they will. But I did like the linebacker trio between him, Campbell, and Anzalone. But, Nowaski did well. So we'll see what happens there. But, we got some guys whose contracts are going to be done after this upcoming season. Zadarius Smith, if he comes back, DJ Reader, Alex Anzalone, a huge name, and, maybe he goes to the Jets to be with his boy Aaron Glenn, so got to get it done this year with Alex. Khalif Raymond, Amik Robertson, Josh Paschal, Jalen Reeves-Maben, Kirby Joseph, we all know about that because I was just talking about that. Malcolm Rodriguez just talked about that. Trevor Nowaski, Jake Bates. But a lot of these guys we could get back on a friendly deal. Jamarco Jones, Tom Kennedy, Lions legend, Stanley Thomas Oliver, Jake Fromm, Ronnie Bell, Abram Beauplan, Chris Smith, Lawrence Strickland, Eric Hallett, Isaac Ukwu. Yes, those are all the names that will be leaving after next season. I mean, depending on if we extend some of them, but that is a lot of names. So we have a lot this year. We have a lot next year. Get the job done. Go out there and get that Super Bowl that we're supposed to have this year. Speaking of, it was very hard for me to watch the championship round this week. I was rooting for the Commanders to beat Philly. I didn't want to see Philly back in there. They absolutely crapped the bed. I wish that version of the Commanders showed up against us. Would have been a closer game. I wish we would have just shown up. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But then, of course, I wanted the Bills, all in all, to end up winning since the Lions weren't there anymore. And, yeah, Mahomes' ref magic came into play. And we got a boring Super Bowl once again. Philly versus Kansas City. I don't know if I'm going to be watching. I think they need to have a little wake-up call that we don't care to see Taylor Swift on TV. We don't care about Patrick Mahomes three-peat and all this. Maybe you do. I don't. I don't care about the Philadelphia Eagles being back there, or Jalen Hurts, or any of that story. The better Super Bowl would have been the Bills versus the Lions, two teams that have never played or never won a Super Bowl. That would have been the story right there. People wanted to see it. America needed it. Now, of course, we didn't even make it to the championship round, so what am I talking? But I don't know if I'll be watching this year's Super Bowl because I don't care about it. NFL needs a little wake-up call. We don't care about the Chiefs like you do, Roger Goodell. We don't care about them. I don't care about seeing Taylor Swift every single time Travis Kelce touches the ball or does anything. I don't care about it. I'm not watching. And if I am, I'm only watching the commercials. All right. And you know what? I forgot to do it. That was my Roar of the Week. That was my Roar of the Week. I don't care about the Super Bowl this year. I don't care, Roger Goodell. Get the Lions in there. Get somebody better in there. And then I'll care about it. But this year, I just do not care. All right. Getting back over to the comments. Roma685, what's up? Kelvin Shepard turned our linebacker room into a great force. Rodrigo, Anzalone, and Campbell were a force. That's right. And I think he's going to do great things with the defense moving forward as well. The boys in the locker room love him, and he's ready for this role. He's been trained to be here. He's been Aaron Glenn's been his mentor. He's been the apprentice. It's his time. It's his time. Hatter's House, we are built for sustained success, but the Super Bowl window is 1, maybe 2 years before some sort of rebuild needs to happen, I believe. I'm with you. We need it next year or the year after, especially with contracts the way that they are. We can go out and get more people next year. Goff's contract is friendly next year. After that, I think the year after we have to pay him like $63 million or something like that. So better get it done sooner than later. Zach J, I'm not sure why so many articles seem to think there is high probability that we cut Zadarius Smith. Yeah, I don't understand it either. That's why I'm asking every week since the end of the season. It's only been a few. Like, do you want to keep Zadarius Smith? Because I see all these articles as well, like, oh, they might not keep him. Should the Lions move on? Should they get picks? And over here, I'm like, well, we traded for him. We knew we were going to get a few years out of him. I think that was part of why we traded for him, right? So we could have more than just this rental this year. We were thinking long term, okay, we're giving up a fifth. We want him for this year and we want him for next year, paired up with Hutch as well. That's where I thought they were always, the logic always was they can always restructure his contract too before, they have to get rid of him if they don't want to pay him that $11 million. So there is that as well. It doesn't have to be set in stone that he's going to get this, but I like Zadarius Smith. I think he fits the culture, and I think that he should definitely come back next season. I don't know what that narrative is going around all socials either, and why these beat writers, and maybe they know more, but it seems like they want him out of town more than anybody. I think the Lions organization is like, what's going on here? We like Zadarius, because even Brad Holmes was talking about, Zadarius Smith next year in his press conference, and he was talking about Carlton Davis and Zeitler as well. And Carlton Davis and Zeitler aren't even, they're going to be free agents. So it sounds like we're keeping Zadarius Smith and going to try to bring back Carlton Davis and Zeitler. Just from the pressers, you can't read too much into it, but if he was throwing out any hints, that's what I got from it. Zach J, this is about to be the least watched Super Bowl. I agree. It is. And hopefully they learn from it. Hopefully they don't have refs screwing people over to get teams to certain spots, in the playoffs or to the Super Bowl anymore. It's completely blatant in some of the games. That Texans game was terrible. There was a few calls in the Bills game where, they got the first down and they didn't give them the first down. There was more than just that, but come on. You got to be better. You got to do better. And the refs who were officiating that game are 8-0. Excuse me. Yes, they are 8-0, but I'm trying to hold back a sneeze. The Chiefs are 8-0 with this officiating crew, and the Bills were like 0-4 or 0-6 or something in the playoffs. So, of course, they set it up to be that way. It's no coincidence. Roger Goodell knew who he wanted in the Super Bowl from that side. He could have cared less about the other side. Maybe, who knows? But Chiefs were always set in stone to be there, at least to fight for that three-peat, and I can't stand it. All right, enough about other teams. This is Lions Talk. If you got any more questions, let it be known. Otherwise, I'll probably get out of here soon. But I did read an interesting article from Lions Wire today, and they said 4 free agents that we absolutely need to bring back in 2025. 2 of them you won't be surprised about because I've been talking about them all episode. Carlton Davis and Kevin Zeitler. But they said we need to bring back Levi Onwuzurike and Kindle Vildor. Levi, we could probably get for a very, very good deal. This was really his first year that he played, a significant amount of time, and this was his best year too. Obviously, if you're out on the field, you're going to have a better year than when you're not out on the field. But I thought he did some good things when he was healthy. He was getting banged up quite a bit, but if we can get him on a really good deal, D-line depth never hurts, and I think he was starting to pick up what we're putting down. He's starting to improve and get to where he needed to be a good depth piece on that line. Now, Kindle Vildor, we were all saying, get the hell out of here the year before. Once it bounced off his face mask, we brought him back. I think he did a decent job filling in for injuries this year. There was one game where it was absolutely horrendous, where he was just getting picked on. It was his first game thrown in there. He was thrown into the fire. We had an injury. We had to put him out there, and he got picked on all day long. After that game, he did have a few, mishaps here and there, but I thought he stepped it up, and he is a good depth piece there in the corner locker room. He's more reliable than Emmanuel Mosley, and he has experience. He has playoff experience. If we need to bring him in for injury, like when something happens, he's a good guy to plug in there because he's got so much starting experience. So I think we could bring him back on a nice, very team-friendly deal, and I wouldn't mind it either just for depth. But, yeah, you ask me, Levi and Kindle, not priorities of mine. Carlton Davis and Zeitler definitely. And I would bring back Tim Patrick and Barnes over Kendall Vildor and Onwuzurike, if you ask me. But all right, I ain't got much left to talk about. There will be more Lions news happening as we go. If you don't have any other questions, I'll be back next week. Same time, 5 p.m. Detroit time, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. on the West Coast. I am Nick Harksen with Touchdown Detroit Lions on the Syndicate Sports Network. I hope y'all have a great week. All right, everybody. Peace.
Touchdown Detroit Lions!